Hello everyone and welcome back to me, Shiva Wilson, and my channel LCUK, which as you know stands for Legalise Cannabis United Kingdom. Now today we're doing another podcast interview type thing. We've got someone called Mr.X, the mysterious Mr.X, who describes himself as a herbalist and crystal healer. And we're going to talk about cannabis. But first off, Mr.X, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me over.
No problem, man. So yeah, tell me a bit about yourself that's got nothing to do with cannabis.
Okay, perfect. So basically, I'm originally from Pakistan, an Asian country. We all are very familiar with these days. Right. I came here like 13 years ago, and I used to have a very traditional sort of normal kind of a background there. But I came here in 2012. And before coming here, I had some crazy experiences. Like I got introduced to LSD and shrooms, and I was a musician. I was a rock guitarist, and then I was like shifting into electronic music, and somebody got me introduced to this, and I was like, wow, what is this? So when I came to this country, like a lot of people that come to this country and like they go to the Western world and they have some sort of a cultural shock and they're like, oh, bedazzled all about. But that was not the case with me. When I came here, I was like, wow, this is the place to be, because there's a lot of liberty and a lot of understanding and freedom of speech and all of that. So it's been 13 years. I had a rough sort of a journey as well because like when I came here, like in 2016, I was kind of diagnosed with cancer. But I used to be a very healthy sort of a person back in Pakistan, and I used to be very invincible and all of that. Yeah. But that's the case with anybody who's healthy, and by the time something hits them, then they realize how vulnerable we can be.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, we'll talk more about that in a bit. So we're going to have a big section about that. So let's talk about weed cannabis. Yeah. What was your earliest experience of this cannabis? How did you come to know about it growing up?
The thing is, in Pakistan, we don't have like flower. We have hashish over there. So there's no concept of like, consuming flower or anything like that. But we have a drink called bhang. BHNG, you might have heard about it. Yeah. And that is like, made with like they take a lot of ingredients like, some savories and some herbs and spices, and they take the cannabis leaves. And they have sativa growing over there because it's got those tall stalks, Yeah. So they take that and they kind of make a drink out of that. So basically, Pakistan never got acquainted with weed as in particular, but instead, like except 2 times. One time a guy made me smoke some chronic, and one time there was something called maybe a Girl Scout cookies. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was literally blown off. Why? Because when you smoke hashish, it takes a little time for it to like set up on you. But as you're puffing a weed joint, like maybe the third puff you take in and you're taking it and you're throwing it out, and by the time it's going out of your nostrils, you're high already. So when I got acquainted with LSD, because I was a part of a musicians group and stuff. So I did a little research on cannabis, and then I found out that basically hashish is the product. The real deal is the cannabis bud, flower. Yeah. So over there, the experiences were quite different. Why? Because the temperature and the climate is quite different. It's hot. It's dry. It's a very different experience. But when I came to the UK and I got acquainted to cannabis, different strains, it was a very different experience. It was more spiritually empowering, more mystical in a lot of sense. Yeah, it also has something to do with the energies of the land. Because Britain is a place which has its like ancient historical archives of different communities having different sort of belief systems, and And cannabis is, I'm not joking, cannabis is a plant that's got a historical status in
Yes.
a lot of communities, like the Egyptians, the South Americans, the Chinese, and even if you look at the history of our world, like whatever history that we know, 100 years ago, all the doctors' medical black bags used to have some sort of a cannabis product to treat either anxiety, depression, or manic disorder, or kind of thing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my journey has been like, the problem is that in United Kingdom, as this thing is not legal, you do not get to acquire the cleanest product. Like you might be lucky that you might get hold of that. So a lot of the problems and the stigmas attached to this substance is due to its impure forms, the practices through which people grow it. Like they might be using a lot of pesticides, or like if like for example, if it's not legal in the UK and people are growing it, they would be using blow dryers, like hair dryers to dry up the bud. So they're like extra chemicalizing it. And when that kind of product is consumed, obviously there's a lot of risk for people to get some sort of a disability in the long run, if not in the short run.
Just to go back to your first time experiencing this hashish, what was the first? How old were you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I vaguely remember, but like I was in the 10th grade. It was maybe the year 2000 or 2001. And I was at a friend's house, and we used to like casually smoke cigarettes. But I'll be honest, I wasn't smoking cigarettes. I was just puffing it just for the show off, And one of the friends said, we were listening to some music. Yeah, Linkin Park was out at that time, I remember. And we were listening to Linkin Park, and he said, yo, I've got something. I'm like, yeah, really? And I kind of tried to boss up, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to have that. And believe me, we went on the roof. He made two joints in cigarettes, no concept of papers back then. And we went to the roof, and the wind was blowing, and I had like maybe 3-4 puffs, and I held it in. First 2 puffs, I kind of took them out, and my friend spied on me, and he's like, nah, you got to hold it in. I was like, oh, okay. And I hold maybe 2 or 3 drags, and it gave this strange, spicy sort of a warmth on my chest.
Yeah.
And slowly and gradually, I started feeling a bit dizzy. And as the wind was blowing, it got me very euphoric. It got me euphoric to the point that I literally threw up. And everybody was laughing at me and like, oh, wow, this guy can't handle. He's a lightweight and stuff like that. But then as time kept on passing, they all realized that like I had a tendency to like kind of overdo in order to assess the what do you call it? Like assess the agenda behind it. So in Pakistan, people are like, the people over there are very different as compared to the Western world. They have got different values. So whoever's smoking these things, like they are like literally hiding in shadows. I don't know how it's now because I haven't been there for like a decade, but so the experience was quite exhilarating. And I was like, I was kind of shocked. Why? Because I could hear a voice in my head talking, like just like it was like me. Like I could hear my thoughts very like clearly, like very vividly. And it was like at first I got very like, kind of scared, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that ever. But then slowly and gradually, like as you start growing up and it's part of the norms and stuff, then I got into it, and the experience was quite liberating, I would say. Why? Because it gives you a mode of thought which is out of the box. People might call it like an alternative way of thinking, but I guess it kind of gives you the ability to question whatever you're facing.
Interesting, man. Very interesting. Yeah. So, did you have any drug education at school or high school or from your friends at the time about like getting any knowledge around drugs themselves?
Well,
when you were younger.
Like I said, in Pakistan, it's like this thing is kind of only the black sheeps do this kind of things. So all the education that we were getting was from the people that we were like, having it with, or we would watch some documentaries. YouTube just came out like very recent, like in 2005 or something. And they used to have these funny kind of documentaries that how to make a joint and stuff like that. So we used to like watch those things, and then somehow we got to hear that, oh, cannabis has the ability to cure diabetes and cancer. Like I'm like a disclaimer, I'd say that I'm not saying that it can cure, just for the sake of it, but I'm just saying that a lot of research it requires. Yeah, a lot of research has to be done in this field, but it hasn't been carried out.
Yeah. Okay, so you said earlier on that you're a herbalist. Let's hear about this herbalist stuff. What's a herbalist and what do they do?
Well, a herbalist, most layman definition would be that a person who likes to work with plants.
Yeah.
Like healing plants, maybe mushrooms. In the healing plants come spices, different herbs, different medicinal things. Also, a lot of them are used for magic as well. They've got poisonous attributes and stuff. Yeah. So I basically got into herbalism because when I got diagnosed with my tumor, so I was like, why don't I take a natural route? So I started like checking out a lot of herbs, and I got into different modalities and stuff. And I came across some amazing herbs. Like, let me tell you about some. There's one called lemon balm. The Latin name is called Melissa officinalis, and it's got a very calming, mood lifting, and it can soften cannabis anxiety while it enhances relaxation. And there's if you've watched, I'm sure you've watched Harry Potter. In Harry Potter, they were talking about a herb called mugwort. Now, mugwort is something that is used for, like in the past, people used to use it in order to get vivid dreams and like some sort of like altered perceptions and stuff. Yeah. Along with that, like
I've tried mugwort.
Sorry.
I said I've tried mugwort. It does seem to enhance the cannabis if you put them together.
Oh yeah, indeed. There's like different ways of doing it. You can even smoke it. You can even have tea, or you can just like smudge the area with it.
So you have cancer, my friend. Sorry to hear about that. So do you want to tell me about what type of cancer it is, when you were diagnosed, and then how the herbs come into it, how you fight this cancer?
Okay, so basically the thing is, my tumor is exactly at the spot where I used to get my vaccines when I was a kid.
Oh.
So it's like a vaccine damage. So there's a big semi golf ball kind of a lump there. Yeah, and from the inside is connected like all over the body, different organs, different sections. So while I was going through all my suffering, I discovered research by Nikola Tesla and Royal Raymond Rife. And then I found out that guy was like the pioneer of sound healing in the modern times, in the recorded history, in the recorded modern times. And this guy, he also invented some sort of microscopes, and he used to look at pathogens in the microscope, and then he would like have a frequency resonator, and he would like change the frequency. Like he'll see, oh, okay, this one hits, and then he's going to document them. So he had made a lot of frequencies. So I used the frequencies in order to trigger detox.
Okay. Yeah, frequency healing kind of thing.
Yeah, and also crystals, herbs, and frequencies. These three things in combination can do miracles. Like,
have you ever used Rick Simpson oil or any cannabis oils?
I've never had the opportunity to try that, but yeah, I've heard a lot about it. Obviously, there's not a lot of medical research on it due to obvious reasons, but yeah, that guy he claims that he cured his cancer by applying it on his skin cancer. Yeah. So how come you're called Shiva?
How come I'm called Shiva? Yeah. Well, it's a long story, but basically, I became obsessed with the Lord Shiva, the Hindu tradition, when I went through a period of psychosis, and it stuck with me, and I got people to call me the name, and it just kind of got stuck as a nickname because I was always wearing my Shiva necklace, and like I was talking out loud to this painting of Shiva and stuff, so people used to call me Shiva, and it just kind of stuck from there.
Interesting. Because when I was in Pakistan, I had a friend, and he used to do LSD a lot. So he was a very different sort of a person before, and after doing a couple of trips of LSD, he got a bit into what do you call it, like Indian mysticism and Indian mythology stuff. Yeah. And then he told me, "Oh, I saw Shiva in my dream." And he was like, I was like, "How?" And he was like, "Oh, it was this big, huge statue, and sitting right next to it, smoking a joint." And he was just, I was talking to him, and he was just looking straight, like in his meditation. That was quite interesting. Yeah.
So do you use the cannabis to help with anything like pain if you've got the cancer or nausea? I mean, do you use the cannabis to treat the symptoms of the cancer?
Okay, so basically at the currently I'm like stationed at a house which has a lot of mold. If you know what that is, mold, black mold, and
mold.
Stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, what mold does is it shuts down your breathing system, your detox, and all of that. It's got different effects on people. So what it does to me is it'll kind of restrict my breathing abilities, and that will create a lot of anxiety. So what I've noticed that United Kingdom in the urban cities, for the past 2-3 years, they were having a lot of problems that a lot of bins are piling up. You know why? Because they're like, council's gone bankrupt, or there's not a lot of employees who could come pick this up and all of that. And during that situation, there was a bacterial infestation in the air. Okay. So I was living in an area called Slough, and that's when I discovered the abilities of cannabis. Yeah, what happened was I used to come back home from work at around 10 p.m. and I used to pass by the bin line, right? And I used to enter home, and by the time I've entered home, my nose is blocked. But as soon as I smoke a joint, like I take 2-3 puffs, it's gonna open it up entirely. Yeah. So it's got amazing, but it's very strain variable, because some strains might not do that. Some strains are very stringent. So those strains are the ones that literally help out with these kind of symptoms. Also for anxiety, depression, it helps a lot. Especially if you combine mugwort with cannabis, it's literally like a mini mushroom trip in a sense.
Mugwort with cannabis, yeah?
Yeah, so it kind of resets your. Also, I've discovered another crazy herb, and like this is a bit untraditional, but if you smoke catnip, you know catnip?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you smoke catnip with cannabis, if someone's about to commit suicide, he'll change his mind. I'm that confident. It's that powerful.
Wow.
And yeah, no researches have been made. I've just field tested all of this stuff myself. Yeah.
Okay, so there's you said that you've got some knowledge of cannabis. Like, what are we talking about here? Science, biology, the endocannabinoid system?
No.
What do you know?
Not exactly scientific. It's more like the right brain kind of intelligence.
Okay. Like intuitive.
So, yeah, more intuitive. It's like a combo, because without the combo, I would have never been able to discover this. So what you do is
combo.
You must have the right strain that sets up with you. Might be an indica or something, and then what you do is you listen to gamma waves, gamma brain waves, and then what happens is you either take a herb called eyebright, or you take a herb like, let's say, lemon balm with rose petals. What it does is it kind of unlocks the 6th and the 7th chakra. And it like I've experienced this. I have some people that have tried this out with me, and they had amazing, astonishing results. And they were kind of shocked. They were like, "How come this is happening?" And I was like, "This is maybe one of the ways that how the ancients used this to transcend to other dimensions." So yeah, once you do this, you can easily meditate. You can connect to higher dimensions and kind of disconnect, dissociate from reality. And once you do that for like a short while, it gives your body like a time to reset. So in that way, you are like not that fragile, and you have a lot of resilience. So it was like a kind of a practice that I adapted along with what do you call it? Chakra tones, that throat singing and stuff like that. If you do those vowels in all of these practices, and if you dim the lights, because the lights, because if you have darkness, or if you have very less lights, that triggers your pineal gland. But we're sadly living in a world that's full of blue lights and electricity and lights and lights and lights. It's just really difficult.
What do you mean when you said field testing the bud?
Okay, back in 2019, this was before COVID. I had like my symptoms, and I basically went to a kinesiologist, and I found out that I had a viral infection. Not COVID. It was something else. It was like one of the herpes strains, but not the sexually transmitted ones. Because then I found out. Then I got to do some research, and I found out a guy called Anthony William, and he's written a lot of books about viruses and autoimmune conditions. So I found out that I had some sort of a herpes strain, and at that time, this is around like maybe July or August of 2019, and I started going to the forest a lot. And when you go and when you use cannabis in the forest, it's entirely different than when you're doing it at your home or somewhere in the city.
Definitely.
That is when I experienced a lot of these like intuitions, and it actually just opens your brain in a way that you kind of feel sad when you go back to civilization, because the downloads are coming very fast. It all depends upon how much, because we are living in a toxic world. We need to understand that.
I understand that indeed. Yeah. So what about the legal status of cannabis? About legalization, decriminalization, or the status quo? What do you want for this country regarding cannabis laws? Are you happy with the way it is?
I think this country could benefit from this. Why? Because if you just look around, and if you see other countries, even Germany has legalized it. Why? Because they want to tax this product. It's all about. It's going to give the government some sort of like a reward. Plus, it can help people to kind of calm down their lives. Because over here in the legal system, what are people actually getting hooked on? Tobacco or alcohol? And we all know that both of these are proper killers. Yeah. Even though if people say that, okay, in moderation, it's all right. Yeah, in the long run, it's still going to destroy you. Yeah. So we're all basically, the problem is, brother. The thing is, we are born in a system where whenever we are born, they already give us a handicap of 30%, 40% life gone. They give us vaccines and stuff, and they kind of try to modify us according to the system, according to how the regulations are. But that is not the natural way. And so the body is kind of adjust to it. We're human beings. We are expansively modulated. We can dynamically connect to anything that's around us. So we basically get adjusted to that. It's like if you keep somebody in a box for maybe since they're born, that's the world for them. They don't even know what's beyond this unless they have an urge to fight for it. So I think if cannabis is legalized in this country, it will be very good medically, also socially, and it can be regulated just like other countries are regulating. And there's no reported deaths with cannabis ever. It is a very strong plant. It is not for everybody. It has the power of transformation. So if regulations are there and people are wise enough how to use it, I think people can definitely benefit from this.
Cool. So you like a legalization approach? Any other countries? Have you ever been to a legal country yet?
No, I've never had the chance.
No Amsterdam or anything like that.
I was planning to, but kind of got out of the way.
Yeah. Let's talk about these spiritual and mystical experiences using cannabis. I like to use it to meditate, and I've had occasional spiritual insights or visions or like feelings, sensations that seem like they're kind of otherworldly or mystical or in connection with God. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I've used it for various reasons, but for mystical, spiritual, meditative purposes, definitely. Like whenever I feel like I need to like have a reset, I've had a lot of this toxic overload, I use it. Yeah. And it definitely connects you to yourself from the person that's inside us. Like all the time telling us things about, we're ignoring it. Why? Because the noise is so loud outside. So cannabis helps us like silence the outside noise.
Go inside, yeah.
Go inside, discover yourself. I never knew that the chakras existed or anything like that, but I got acquainted about all of this. Why? Because of cannabis. Because cannabis was like kind of echoes from the past. It's like a way that how our ancestors have been, and we've forgotten, and we've been kind of forced to forget due to a lot of things that have happened in the past, historically. So like cannabis is like a way of kind of getting back to where we were.
Ancient knowledge.
Exactly, ancient knowledge, understanding of the divine, understanding of self. Yeah.
So you really get into yourself. Do you feel energies? You mentioned the chakras. Do you visualize these things?
Yeah, I'm not much into visual, but I'm more into auditory.
Okay.
So I might do chakra tones. I might use singing bowls. I might use tuning forks and stuff. And that way I can like kind of create a harmonious environment around me. And a lot of the
crystals as well.
Yeah, crystals, definitely. Have you ever tried crystals?
Yeah, I've got crystals. Sometimes when I'm really stoned, I can feel them vibrating, their energies,
Okay. So I basically, when I was in 2019, when I was going to the forest, and I basically, what happened to me is due to maybe the problems that I've had or the traumas I've had since childhood or whatever. Whenever mold used to hit me, like a particular strain, a black mold, it would give me brain fog. It would lobotomize me. It would make me a vegetable. So when those kind of things used to happen, I would make a fat one, go to the forest, put on the headphones and listen to these chakra tones and then smoke a joint and then maybe listen to an audiobook or a documentary after that, like an interview or something. Trust me, YouTube interviews and podcasts, they've put me big time. In America, they have ceremonies of cannabis.
Yeah.
Where people like kind of, come around and they all have the same kind of intention to heal, to like clarify their vision and broaden the horizon and, remove the things that are not necessary to us anymore, like disconnect. How do you call it? Cut the cords and all of that.
Yeah.
Cannabis is indeed powerful.
It is. And speaking of it being illegal still in this country, have you ever had any trouble with the law from possessing cannabis, for example? Or?
13 years ago, when I was new here, kind of made a dumb mistake. I was with these friends, a Scottish guy and his American girlfriend, and we were just chilling about in Soho. And he just out of the blue, he's like, "Oh, I feel like smoking a joint." Like, okay, let's roll it then. And we rolled it, and we were smoking, and a little bit was left. And three dudes were going in these, jogging bottoms and all, and they just stopped all of a sudden, and they're like, "Oh, I smell cannabis." And I said to the guy, I'm like, "Yeah, so what?" And he took out his badge, and it was Western. Oh my God. So those three guys, they all singled us out and started checking everything and this and that. And it was maybe like a weekday, and he's like, "Oh, don't you have to go to work tomorrow?" and this and that. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really sorry." And I was really like panicked, and because I was like, this is a really dumb thing we've done. And it was with my friend, so he got a warning, and I was like, nah, this is not a good idea to do this outside over here. Like, basically in Pakistan, it's a different scenario. Pakistan is quite spacious as compared to the United Kingdom. Doesn't, like, in the urban areas, there's not much areas that you can go and, like, you're not being surveilled, to be honest.
Yeah.
But in Pakistan, you can go about here and there, and, like, nobody knows that you're there except the birds and the animals that see you. So yeah, it was a very humbling experience at the same time, kind of scary. And then I realized that, no, man, I need to abide by the law of the land, because, like, you can't just make your way when it's not good. So since then I never had any kind of issues, because I'm like a very hermit sort of a person. Yeah, don't have many friends as well. Yeah, I had been in the music scene before. I was doing a lot of partying and drinking and all of that stuff. So, like, I quit all of that after I discovered I had a tumor.
Yeah.
So that was like a change of life as well, big time.
Wow, Mr. X, that's all my questions for you. I'm all out of questions, so I guess we'll kind of start to wrap it up there. Is there anything else you wanted to tell us about cannabis or your life? I don't know.
Yeah,
anything else you wanted to say?
I can basically give my experience about something that I've realized. That if cannabis gets legalized in the UK, there'll be a lot of damages to be paid, and that's one of the reasons, maybe, I'm just saying, maybe, just my opinion, that why it's not being legalized. Because once people start consuming this, it is going to make them more closer to being human.
Right.
And we all know that while in this postmodern Britain or Western world, we are very far away from that. So then people might, call in a lot of lawsuits and damages to be paid. And also, there's a big mold infestation in the United Kingdom. I've seen that, because you can go research about it like crazy, like, it's everywhere. And in the United Kingdom, every house, even if you're living in the countryside, your washing machine will have black mold in it, especially in the area where you put your washing up liquid and all of that stuff. Basically, the thing is, that mold is feeding on the chemicals. And cannabis, a lot of the strains of the cannabis, literally, it kind of cancels out the mold spores in the air on contact. So if people, now just imagine, one street is smoking cannabis, everybody's smoking cannabis, yeah? Everything that's there, like the bacteria in the air, the mold, everything will become like visible to people, and people start questioning their landlords. They're going to start questioning the councils. We need to repair this. And maybe, it might be a devastating and all of that. But this is just one of my, observations. And I think people need to realize that this could be another factor.
Very interesting. Yeah. You wanted to mention books or anything you said about a book or something, right?
Yeah, it's in the process. Like, I haven't written it, but it's called Still Afloat. So it's like my story of my whole journey of, like, the medical traumas and this and that. So it's called, so I'm in the process of that.
You were going to ask me a question or something?
Yeah, I was gonna. Oh, it just slipped out of my head. Oh, it just slipped out. I'm really sorry. Yeah, it slipped out of my head.
Okay, well, I think we'll call it a day at that point now. So, you happy to finish there, Mr. X?
Yeah, I'm done. My channel, if you want, you can put it in the description. I post a lot of healing sound frequencies there.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested,
I will definitely check them out myself.
Sure, brother. Thank you very much.
And combine them with cannabis and mugwort.
Oh, trust me. There's a guy called David Wong. If you check him out, he sells frequencies made by scientists and mathematicians. They're not that expensive. Like some of them are really expensive, but some of them are very cheap, like around under 50 pounds a set. And if you get 2-3 sets, just check them out. Really powerful.
Will, wicked. Right. Okay. Thank you, man. Right. Everyone, thanks very much for showing up. That's been today's podcast. We have another one coming soon with BJM Publishing from New Zealand. So look forward to that one. And I just want to say a very big thank you to Mr. X for your time and for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thanks everyone for watching. So we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to end the call now.